I wonder if you're familiar with the Diet Soap podcast.
No, I'm not. Tell me about it.
Well, it is a podcast which was in part inspired by the Sea-Rome podcast. And the host, Doug Lane, he says that he thinks of his podcast as part of an ongoing conversation that takes place in a public space between the various podcasters. And he frequently puts together montages from different podcasts to sort of show how there are certain themes that are circulating through all of them, even though, we're not necessarily doing it deliberately or consciously.
Well, that's really fascinating. What's it called again?
Diet Soap.
Hi. It's been a while since I've talked directly to you. Been busy, as I've pointed out. Also been a little depressed, a little under the emotional weather.
No, I mean, in my mind, I feel like if I actually made some money and I didn't have to live like a dumbass, then, I wouldn't worry about it.
So you believe that?
Yeah.
So what are you doing at Sweater then?
I don't know.
Because, we know what we're doing at Sweater is deconstructing all that stuff. So it doesn't matter if you're a shit-ass, butt-fuck white trash cutting his hair with a vacuum cleaner, or if you're David fucking Bowie, you're still going to have that identity deconstructed and realize that it's a sham.
And he asked this other character about the next leader and coming into the White House, and he says, what do you mean by a con man? And the other character answers, just what it sounds like, a confidence man, someone who has the oratory ability to persuade the great mass of people to keep going to their jobs every day, someone who can restore the people's confidence in the consumer society, the so-called American way of life. That's the kind of person they'll push on us after Bush.
I'm pissed off as usual. First was amusing to me, but now it's become just absolutely sickening, and I'm just completely out of my mind with it. I can't even watch it anymore. I mean, on the one hand, you have liberals who continually convince themselves that Barack Obama's on their side, no matter what he does, no matter who he sells out to.
I mean, do you think that there's people out there who've got a more, proficiently and aesthetically pleasingly constructed identity to convince themselves that they are happy with how they are? Do you think that they really are?
Well, I can't speak for him. I don't know. I would think that David Bowie would be pretty fucking pleased with himself, honestly.
So what about Gnosis then? I mean, where does that come into? Because why would you need Gnosis if you'd managed to construct an identity that was pleasing enough to last you to death?
There's nothing like the fury of people who are disappointed and feel cheated.
Yeah, even in Iowa City, I'm seeing more and more cars where the Obama sticker is being steadily scraped off. They can't quite get the entire thing off.
Really?
And so it's very difficult, you see, to get down to what are your basic assumptions. What do you mean by the good life? What do you mean by consistency? What do you mean by rationality?
I mean, aren't you maddened? Aren't you frustrated by it? Hello? Aren't you crazed by this shit? I mean, do you talk about it with your neighbors? Probably not. Nobody else talks about it. I mean, I try in this so-called liberal town, Ann Arbor. I've tried with numerous people to talk about it, and for all of Ann Arbor's sophistication and supposed liberalism, people really don't want to talk about this shit. And the way I look at it, if I'm going to be living in this zoo of hallucination called the U.S., I want to get the best possible picture, so I'm hoping to save up by Thanksgiving for a plasma large screen HD TV, man. Maybe I can actually see my own anguish in HD. That would be the ultimate trip.